Not many years before, though Dante had denounced their luxurious manners, the Florentines seemed to have frowned upon any untoward display of wealth. They had dressed very simply, the standard costume for all men who were artisans being an ankle-length gown of dark-coloured cloth buttoned down the front like a cassock. Their houses, too, had been unassuming. Even those of the richest families had been furnished with plain wooden tables and the most uninviting beds. The walls were generally whitewashed, tapestries being unpacked from chests to be displayed on special occasions only. Floors were of bare stone, rarely covered with anything other than reed matting. The shuttered windows were usually made of oiled cotton. Glass and majolica ornaments were few and discreet. Silverware was produced from the sideboard or from a locked cupboard in the master's room for none but the honoured guest. And few families yet had forks. In more recent years, however, though the Florentines continued to enjoy a reputation for frugality, they had become noticeably less abstemious and restrained. The stone houses of the well-to-do still presented a severe, even forbidding appearance to the street, but behind the glazed and curtained windows of the upper stories the rooms were frequently carpeted, the walls painted with murals, hung with tapestries, religious pictures, and occasionally concave looking-glasses to reflect light onto a table or desk. Fireplaces were much more common, so that on cold winter nights warming pans and scaldini, earthenware jars filled with hot charcoal, were not so necessary. Much of the furniture was painted or decorated with marquetry. The canopied beds, standing on raised platforms and surrounded by footboards, were very large, often 12 feet wide, big enough for 4 people or even more to sleep in them side by side, lying naked beneath the linen sheets and breathing in air made sweet by scent or by herbs burning slowly in pierced globes hanging from the ceiling. Over their trunk hose and jacket, men still wore the lucco, the dark ankle-length gown with long, wide sleeves and a hood attached to the neck. But many young men now preferred more gaily coloured clothes, a pink cape, perhaps, worn with a satin jacket, white stockings shot with silver lace, a velvet cap with a feather in the brim, scented gloves, golden rings and a golden chain, a jewelled dagger and a sword. There were sumptuary laws, as there were elsewhere in Europe, but no one paid them much attention. Certainly the women did not. An official who was ordered to compel women to obey the laws submitted a characteristic report of his failure. In obedience to the orders you gave me, I went out to look for forbidden ornaments on the women, and was met with arguments such as are not to be found in any book of laws. There was one woman with the edge of her hood fringed out in lace and twined round her head.